In this week's presentation, I'll be taking a look at the framework for assessing power in collaborative governance processes by Jill M. Purdy and how it helps promote democratic accountability. I would end the presentation by looking at the challenges for practical implementation within the current public sector and make recommendations for how to overcome those challenges. Accountability in the public sector requires public sector to give account for performance to the public on how funds are used and how outcomes are reached. It seeks to ensure transparency in public decision making. It seeks to assure that all interests are represented. It also seeks to ensure that outcomes are equitable and that nobody's left behind in the decision making. The introduction of non-state actors into critical decisions in the interest of the public raises concerns for public interest being overtaken by private sector interest, especially given the vast arrays of non-state actors that are introduced into that process now. To overcome these challenges, public sector is required to ensure that citizens participate fully in decision making. Now that's a challenge where you have other parties, other non-state actors being given discretion in helping make these decisions, as they probably have interests and agendas that they would rather push. What this framework does is to offer the public sector with a tool to assessing the power interplay among various participants, being able to assess where the imbalances are and helping the less powerful participants make sure that their voice is heard. And this tool allows the public sector, who acts as the facilitator or the convener, to determine where those gaps are and to help to show them up. In my opinion, this is an excellent tool. The author gives the various ways that this tool can be used. It can be used before the collaborative process to plan. It can be used during the collaborative process, either as a self-appraisal tool by participants or as a tool used by the facilitator to determine where the various gaps are, or it can be used after more as a post-mortem to determine how the effects of the outcomes, or why the collaborative process went well, or where the problems were. A good tool generally that can be used. However, my concerns lay in the assumption that, first of all, that it's just the public sector that might convene, and overlooks the fact that other conveners might determine how or whether they want to use this tool as part of the deliberative process. My second concern has to do with the capacity within the public sector to take on the role for implementing a framework like this and other accountability mechanisms available to them. In the final analysis, it's my opinion that thought needs to be given to systemic and planned training for current sector employees, particularly given the expected increase in cross-sectoral collaborations. Thank you for listening.